Well, I got to cross an item off my bucket list this summer. I got to go to a 2-day performance driving school at Ron Fellows at Spring Mountain in Nevada near Las Vegas. It was an awesome experience. I'll show you some videos here and I'll show you around the facility. But it was just a great experience. It was a combination of classroom and uh, track driving. You did an exercise for emergency stopping and then some cone exercises where you could not look out the front window. Then I got 5 track sessions plus one demo with the instructor, which was really awesome. So without further ado, let me show you around the facility. All right, I'm here at the Ron Fellows Performance Driving School. It's about 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm about ready to head out for breakfast. There's the track and it looks like some cones and a skid pad maybe. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. These condos are really nice too. Take a look. Whoops, tripping. Aren't they nice? All right, off to breakfast. Is this Corvette heaven? The Camaros are the pace cars driven by the instructors. Nice. Yellow. The first exercise we did was an emergency stop to show you the capability of the anti-lock brakes on the Corvette. It was a lot of fun. What you do is you would go from a standing start at, first about 35 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, and gradually work yourself close up to 50. And in the first exercise, you just went straight through. And when you got to the cones, you slammed on the brakes and you got to experience analog brakes. As you went, a couple more times, the final ones you would go up to the cones and there'd be somebody standing way in the back, and at the very last second before you slam on the brakes, they would point for you to go in one direction or the other. So you didn't know which way you were going to go, but you would go left or right depending on what they told you. And it was fun because, like I said, you come up fast, and then all of a sudden you find out which way to go, and you slam on the brakes and turn one way or the other. So that's what this looks like.
All right, full stop. Excellent. Excellent. All right, Paul, go ahead and pull on back around. And David, it's your turn. Come on down at 35 miles an hour as you approach the cones here. Begin your braking and a nice gentle stop in the center lane. There you go. Excellent. Ease away from there and get back around to the back of the line. All right, David, your turn. Come on down, 35 to 40. Eyes up on Aaron. Excellent. There you go. Nice job there, David. Ease on through. All right, PJ, check off the thrill here. 35 miles an hour on the brakes as hard as possible here as you observe which way. All right, we're going to roll out onto the track surface here, so work your way up through the gears as we head up the hill up to third gear. All right, we're going to stay to the left here as we enter the track. This, in case we miss the car on the track here, they've got room to go by us, not causing an issue. We check our mirrors, everything's clear. Now we're on the line as we enter turn 1. All right, so David, start looking around the corner. There's a big apex cone there on the left, just like you saw on the ovals you just drove on. Tires on the curb next to the apex cone. Let the car come out to the middle of the road as we crest the hill coming out of turn 1. Back over to the left, we have a turning cone and an apex on the right. So follow the road. Don't focus on the cones. Don't ignore them, but don't stare at them. Look at the road, see how sharp the corner is, so you know how much to move the steering wheel, and place the car next to the cones. first cone on here on the left is a turning cone for the drop. All those smaller cones there will disappear tonight. They will not be there tomorrow, but today they remind us to get over to the right as we enter the drop. Turning cone on the left here for turn 4. See up on the right there at the top of the hill? That's the first part of the long apex. So we bring the car over to the right, put the right tires on the curb starting at that first cone, and stay on the curb until you get to the second cone. And that lines us up for a good run out onto our straight. All right, looking down the left side of the track, there's some countdown boards. 3, 2, 1. Those are reference points, and they tell us where we are relative to the approaching corner. So once we decide where to apply the brakes, we can do it in the same place every lap, depending on where we are compared to those boards. The turning cone on the left tells me to stay to the left till I get to the cone, and then we enter the corner and bring the car to the middle of the road as we come down the hill. Then there's an apex on the right, so we bring the car in tighter to the inside, put your right side tires on the curb. Now look past my car, you'll see some water tanks up there in the distance. Those will remind us every time to get over to the left as we leave turn 5, hug the inside of the corner here until we start moving out to the middle here in turn 6. Now as we enter turn 6, look out your left window. There's the apex. So we add a little steering, turn a little sharper, come down to the apex, and then we've got a right-hand turn 7, and we do not want to touch the white and blue and white curbing until we're at the apex. So we kind of ignore the first part of that curbing. We just want to get the car to that apex curbing. Same thing here in turn 8 on the curb next to the apex. Now this is a little different here. We stay to the left as we come around turn 8, so now we're in position for turn 9. There's the turning cone on the left, apex on the right. All right, we come out next to the painted line here on the track, and here's a turning cone for turn 10 and another row of small cones that will disappear tonight, but these, at this point, remind us to get over to the apex on the right side of the track. Drive on that curve a little bit more there, David. Get in nice and tight to the apex. Now, notice that keep turning. There you go, good. Quick, and unwind and accelerate. Good. Thank you, man. Gotta get the car over to the right. See the other side. Go. To the apex, point it up the hill, and then go at the same time. Rewind, left side. All the way around the edge. So you go to the left, and start to the right.
Coasting, unwinding, accelerating. Over to the left, firm brake, third gear, balancing, coasting, unwinding, accelerating. Go to forward, straight over the drop, light brake balance. Right side tires are going to touch a curb. I'm going to go ahead and begin to accelerate here. Balancing, I'm turning, balance, 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 a little throttle, off the gas for throttle steer, roll back into full. I'm going to drop it down to third gear right here, balancing, balancing, rolling into full throttle. Light brake, balance, throttle smooth, brake. apex, unwind, accelerate. Fourth gear, light brake balance.
Well, that's pretty much it. It was a fun 2 days. I would do it again in a heartbeat.